Well, good morning, everybody. Dr. Josh here. This has been quite an interesting 12 minutes. I had everything set up, and Megan came in here to get everything ready for the 12 o'clock last round of interviews, and Oliver had just hit the power button on the computer. So this has been a bit of a scramble, but hopefully everything's up and you guys can see and hear me and what's on the screen, more importantly. So do a quick intro and then we'll just get right into reading. So I am Dr. Josh with Digital Hammurabi, and one of the things that we do here is teach ancient languages. That's sort of our one of our things that we do. So I started a Learn to Read Biblical Hebrew series, and I think I'm 5 or 6 lessons in. And then I decided, it'd be fun, sort of in parallel with those lessons, that if I just kind of would pull up some Hebrew and read live and explain the grammar and the syntax as we go. Obviously, I am not like the greatest Hebrew scholar in the world, as some have pointed out. No disagreement there on my part. I'm sure there are many, many more that are far more qualified to do this. Yet, I think I can do what needs to be done here. So, if you have questions, put them in the live chat. Tag me at Digital Hammurabi. Anybody that's this sort of thing is especially good for, let's say, a seminary student that's finished their first year of biblical Hebrew, or they're, maybe in their second semester, and they just kind of want some practice reading along. So we're doing 2 different things, alternating each week. I don't know how much longer I'll do it this way, but we started reading through 1 Kings chapter 1, and now we are alternating with an exercise from this book, which is in the description of the video. The first Hebrew primer for adults. It's an excellent book, but they have some really good exercises, and I just thought we'd do one. So this one, this is the second week we're doing Jack and the Beanstalk. So anyway, enough of the intro. Let's do some reading. So I think where we left off is right here in this sentence. So I'll read it and then translate it just so we can kind of get the context. So Al Kain lakach Yaakov et hazera beyado vayiten et behemto laish hazaken. Vayashov Yaakov el beito. So therefore, Al Kain lakach, it's a cow perfect, third masculine singular from Lamed Kof Chet. So Jacob took et, the object marker here, the seed in his hand, beyado. I think we did all this last time or 2 weeks ago, but just kind of recap. Vayitain, so a cow, vav consecutive imperfect, third singular from Natan. Notice the nun is assimilated here. Vayitain, and he took et behemto. And he gave his animal, cattle, laish hazaken, to the old man. Zaken is old. So he gave his animal to the old man. Vayashov, and he returned, and Jacob returned el beito. So his, here is his. And then notice bait goes to bait because the accent has shifted here to the ultimate syllable, and that is Aya has contracted to A. So when he returned to his house. Okay. Now, that was quick. I promise we'll go slower. Okay. B'vo'o el beito hu ra'a et imo omedet sham. You kind of wonder what his thought process was here. I do this when I read through ancient texts. I think, like, is the author trying to, or is the writer trying to get to bring across the feeling of the character, and I can just picture it here. So, 🀭. So this is from Beit Vav Aleph. So lavo, to come. This is that temporal construction. So you have a beit, the preposition in with by beit, before a verbal. This is an infinitive construct. And the way that you do these is you read so if I could, this is your object suffix. This is your preposition. And what you do with these, you have an infinitive construct. So what you do is you read first the preposition, and you normally just start with like when. So when, and you skip to the object suffix and read it as the subject. He, when he, and then you come back to the verb. Came, when he came. That's just how these things are translated. So it's literally like in the coming of him, but in English, it's when he came. In the coming of him. In his coming. Is probably better. In his coming, when he came. El, preposition to, toward. Beito, we just saw this up there. But bait is house. And this aye, diphthong, when the accent shifts, as in when we put the third masculine singular object suffix on, the accent shifts. So this contraction, aye, getting pretty good at erasing stuff here, if I say so myself. So, oops, aye goes to a. It's contraction. So the other contraction is ave. So comets, vav, sagol. Sorry, I was trying to think of the name of the eval. So ave or awe will go to o. So aye and ave go to a and o. They're contractions. When they lose the accent, that's what happens. So beito, which is what you see here. So when he went, or in his coming, when he came, when he came, it's supposed to go, it's probably better. When he came to his house, hu ra'a, I guess there's not much to talk about there. So this is just cow perfect, third singular from Resh Aleph Hey, to see. So he saw what or who? He saw et. So there's your direct object marker. Emo. So aim is mother or Ema, but aim. And then immo is his mother. So the tsere goes to a hirik in this construct form. So when he saw his mother, omedet, so let's talk about that for a second. Ayin mem dalet in the cow perfect. Their masculine singular is amad. And if you guys know from watching this, one of my things that I do, I suppose, is carry on the tradition of my old professor. Not that he's old, but my former professor of Semitics, in teaching, utilizing his memory devices. So he used to say, Ahmad. Every time I see it, I see Ahmad Rashad standing in the end zone, ready to catch that pass. Ahmad Rashad standing in the end zone. So if you see Ahmad, you picture Ahmad Rashad standing in the end zone. That's how he'd say it too. Standing in the end zone, ready to catch a pass. So amad means to stand. So this is, of course, omedet. And if you think about, if you have learned the participle, you get omed, so shomer, shomeret, shomrim, shomrot. So the same thing would be here, omed, omedet, and then omedim, omedot for the masculine plural and feminine plural. So this is omedet, which is just the cow active participle, feminine singular from amad. And amad means, you picture Ahmad Rashad standing in the end zone, ready to catch a pass. It looks like Oliver is texting or messaging us. Hello, Oliver. Hopefully Megan is aware of that. Oh, yep, she is. Good. Okay, so, and he saw his mother standing, sham. Sham is like there. Po would be here. Sham is there. There's another word, kan, which means here as well. But, so, I mean, if we wanted to get, you think about this participial form is, it's not meant to, well, it doesn't matter. So he saw his mother standing there. Vatomer lo lemor, ro'a ani ki machalta et habehema. Ten li et hakesef asher natnu lecha tachteha. It's a cool way to say that. Okay, vatomer. So you're vayomer, vayomer, vayomer. You see vayomer all over the place in the Hebrew Bible. So vatomer is just the feminine form, third singular of the cow, vav consecutive and perfect of vayomer. So vatomer is if it's a woman speaking or feminine agent, subject. Vayomer is masculine. Vatomer lo. So, and she said to him, and then here is your lemor. And this lemor is just, you can translate it saying, or, just marking that what's coming is a quote. Ro'a ani. So we just learned about strong participles, right? So shomer, shomeret, shomerim, shomrot. Well, if you have a verb with a third weak, third hey, remember the hey is very weak. If there's one thing that we've learned about third heys, or just heys in general, is that they're weak, right? So if you make a participle in the masculine, it hangs out. Ro'eh. In the feminine singular, ro'ah, that's what we have here. If I can find it, there it is. They drew or they're writing a mater matrix lexicon, making it a full vowel. It's a later development, but so ro'eh, ro'ah, if it goes into the plural, you would expect in a masculine plural to get that im ending, and when it does, that hey just drops off. Ro'im, and then if you wanted the feminine plural, I guess I can just erase again. You would get ro'ot. Ro'eh, ro'ah, ro'im, ro'ot. Same thing in the in the adjectives. If you learned adjectives, yafeh, yafa, yafim, yafot, third hey drops off. So, ro'a ani, I see. So remember, in your participles, you don't get, specific number. Specific person. You just sort of get like a general masculine singular, a general feminine singular, general masculine plural, general feminine plural. So you don't get like a, in the cow perfect, if you say ra'iti or shamarti, you would say I saw, or I guarded. But here you don't get that. It's just a general feminine singular. So you would say, if you were a woman, female subject, and you said ani ro'a, or you could say at ro'a, so you, feminine, ro'a, or you would say he ro'a, she saw. So here it's ani ro'a, so I, feminine singular, si, collective participle feminine singular from resh, aleph hey, ki, that, I see that, macharta, so shamarti, shamarta, shamart, shamar, shamra, so this is macharta. So cal perfect, second masculine singular from mem kaf resh. So this is that you sold et habehema, the animal, like a cattle animal. I know I keep saying that more specifically, but yes, okay. So I see that you sold the animal. Tainli, so this is the masculine singular imperative. So tain, tani, tanu, tainna. What was I going to say? Right. So this is from Natan. So that first nun just drops off. That's what happens a lot with first nuns. Again, they're also weak. They'll either assimilate or they'll just drop off. Not always, obviously, but oftentimes they will. So tainli, masculine singular imperative from Natan, give to me, li. Tainli et hakesef. So the silver, the money. Notice that et again is your definite direct object marker. It doesn't mean aleph tav, the first and the last. It's not a hidden name of Jesus in the Old Testament. Sorry. Okay, so tainli et hakesef, give me the silver. Asher, and asher we know is the relative pronoun, which or that. Natanu. Don't want to go through that paradigm. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So again, Natan is your root. So if you add your T ending for first common singular, the nun, shrinks down, goes into that tav, because that's what it does. Remember, if we got our magnifying glass out and we looked, we would see a very small nun there. So what you end up with is natati, natata, natat, natana. So here, what we end up with is Natan with an u ending. So it's just a third plural, third common plural. So it's just ended so the nun comes back. So not the new. So it looks just like shamaru. So just a cal perfect third common plural from Natan, which they gave lecha, to you, tachteha. So this is from tachat. Tachat usually is like, or often we see it or we learn it as like under, but it can also be in place of something. So what she's saying, this is tachteha. So this eha here is just the third feminine singular object suffix that goes onto a preposition. So here, tachteha in place of it, and in place of her. But this is feminine because behema is feminine, as you can see here. So in place of it. So give to me the silver or the money, which they gave to you in place of or in exchange for it, the cattle, the animal. So the mother's saying, hey, show me the money. Show me the money. It's probably not what she's saying, but it's close, right? Any Jerry Maguire fans out there? All right. Cuba Gooding Jr. did such a great job in that movie. All right. Vaya'an Yaakov le'imo lemor. You can imagine. It's going to be great. What's he going to say? It's going to be awesome. You know she's going to be persuaded by it. So, Vaya'an Yaakov. This is from Ana, Ayin Nun, Hey. So, to answer, this is a cow. Vav consecutive imperfect from Ana. Notice the Hey drops off. You get an A vowel here because of this Ayin. Vaya'an. So, and Jacob answered his mother. This lamed is just, I would imagine, just marking the object here. Imo, notice that it's not la, showing like this isn't showing the remnants of a definite article because the third suffix here, the third masculine singular suffix, is what makes this word definite. So this just is a regular attached preposition to his mother, or answered his mother, saying, what's he going to say? Hey, I got me some beans. Got some beans. Sorry. Lo macharti et habehema. I did not sell et habehema, the cattle, the animal. So this is a cow perfect, first common singular from machar mem kafresh, to sell. I did not sell the animal. Ach, however, natati ota lezaken chacham. And I mean, I think that's funny because the man is pretty clever, right? Okay, so however, or instead, whatever, I gave it to not the, zaken chacham, a wise old man. So this zaken is acting as a substantival adjective. It's like the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? The good one, the bad one, the ugly one, or the good man, the bad man, the ugly man, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So here, this is just the old, or an old man, an old wise, a wise old man. So this is acting as an attributive adjective to zaken, which is acting as a substantive adjective. So I gave it, the beast, to an old man, a wise old man, asher, who, ra'iti, or that, ra'iti baderech, that I saw in the road or in the path, in the way. So I won't go over the whole thing in writing again here, but baderech, so derech, and then haderech would be the road, and then baderech is that bait destroying that hay, because the hay is weak and the bait is so strong. So I didn't sell the animal. However, I gave it to a wise old man that I saw in the road. V'hu natan li et hazera hagadol hazeh. Oh, you can't see that, can you? There we go. So, v'hu natan li et hazera hagadol hazeh asher beyadi. And he gave, cow perfect, they're masculine, singular from natan. Li gave to me, et hazera, the seed, hagadol, notice, ha, these are all definite, and these adjectives are acting as attributive. So the seed, the big one, this one. So literally this big or this great seed. Asher beyadi, which, be, notice it's not ba, because the first common singular object suffix makes this definite. Yad is the noun, beyadi, in my hand. If I'm going too quickly, by the way, everybody, please let me know. Or if you'd like me to explain something further, just put it in the side chat. Hey, digital, slow the hell down. Or if you're just listening to me to fall asleep, that's also good. Whatever is floating your proverbial boat. So you can imagine that the mother's very happy here. Vatikra imo bekol gadol na'ara sha'ata avon gadol asita. Damn, she didn't go for it, everybody. And she called out, and his mother called out in a kol gadol, like in a great, a loud voice is probably best here. A large voice. Gadol is big. And she said, right? So she cried out in a loud voice, what? Na'ar rasha ata. So na'ar is like a lad, a young man, a young boy. I think I saw a study one time on the age range that the text uses. Excuse me. Of course, that's probably going to vary based on context, but for the age range of a na'ar, it can be a boy, it can be like a teenager, it can be a young man. It's just, I think, don't quote me on that, but it's generally considered like a lad, a young boy. So na'ar rasha ata. Rasha is like evil. And then ata, ani ata at, hu, he, anachnu, atem, aten, hem, hen. Those are the personal pronouns. So ani, ata. So you. Sorry, everybody, just to point this out. I learned modern Hebrew a lot before I learned biblical Hebrew. So I don't know that it's always this way, but generally speaking, when I've seen, people learning biblical Hebrew, they learn the third masculine singular first. So I say ani, ata, at, hu, he. So first common singular, then second masculine singular, then second feminine singular, then third masculine singular, third feminine singular. But then I see it usually taught third masculine singular first. So they would say hu, he, ata, at, ani. And I don't do it that way. Korag Nightwolf asks, can I read a few lines for us? Yes. David, let me finish translating this and then I'll read what we've read today out loud just so you can hear it. Na'arashata, so like an evil lad are you. Notice there's no linking verb here. So you are a wicked boy, essentially, right? You're a very bad boy. I'm a very naughty boy. Avon gadol asita. So a great transgression, a great wickedness, a great evil, bad thing you have done. So this is from Ayin Sin Hey. So it's a third week. If you remember, if you have a third Hey, what you end up with is it essentially morphs into a yud, and you get ra'iti, ra'ita, ra'it, ra'a, ra'ata, and so on. So here you've got asita, so it's from third hey, ayin, seen, hey, which is to do, or to make. So asita, you have done. It's a great wickedness that you have done, transgression that you have done. Then we get a cool form here. Hanuchal le'echol או לשתות זרע. Remember, normally when you see before a word, ha, you're thinking the, right? Definite article. But if you see the composite shava there, this is probably going to be an interrogative hey. In other words, what's coming is a question. So that's how they mark it. What does Hammurabi mean in English? Hammurabi is just the name of an old Babylonian king. So he was a king that ruled in Mesopotamia over Babylon in the 18th century BCE. So that's who Hammurabi is. Okay. So we know that what's coming here, we should think that what's coming here is a question. So this is a weird form. Yachal means to be able. And it has some interesting forms. It's probably best just to memorize them. Ani yachol lishtot. I am able to drink. Yachal means to be able to do something. So, ani yachol ledaber katsat ivrit. I am able to speak a little bit of Hebrew. Aval lo kol kach. I think that would be the right way to say it. Not a lot. My Hebrew speakers out there, please let me know if I screwed that up royally. In the imperfect, though, this yud essentially extends down and becomes a vav, and you get uchal, tuchal. That's a really ugly vav, sorry. Uchal, tuchal, tuchli, yuchal, tuchal, nuchal, and so on. So nuchal is your form here, nuchal. It's just a little irregular. So ha nuchal, are we able? So this is cow perfect, first common plural from yachal. Are we able le'echol? So achal is to eat, right? A fire can eat something, it can consume it, but that's the idea, to eat something. Ani ochel uga ta'ima, I am eating tasty cake. So aleph kaf lamed is to eat something. In the infinitive form, the infinitive construct form, you get echol. And if you put the lamed on it to make it the full form, this segol sort of echoes back. Le'echol, to eat. And then you get lishtot, so from shin, tav, hey. So if you remember the third in the infinitive construct form, just like in many other forms, that third hey will drop off, and the ending will be ot. So lishtot, this is another infinitive construct. So hanuchal, are we able le'echol o lishtot zera? Are we able le'echol, to eat? O is or. Lishtot, to drink. Zera, seed. Are we able to eat or drink seed? No. Right? Is the answer rhetorical here? Well, I guess it's not rhetorical. Well, yeah, it's rhetorical, sorry. Ata bo habaita ushchav lishon ki ein lechem le'echol. Now, ata, so there are two atas, at least. I'm probably spelling that wrong. I think that's right. So ata. The thing is, it's funny, I learned to write Hebrew without the vowel points because I was learning modern Hebrew. So ata is you, second, masculine singular. But here, ata, that's with an aleph. With an ayin, it is now. So now, and this is, it's like a time now as opposed to later, but it can also be used. Anyway, so now ata bo, this is an imperative form. By the way, Korag Nightwolf writes, now I get why translating this properly to modern day is so important. Yeah, no doubt. And by the way, I really appreciate all of you being here. I don't know if there are a lot of people in the audience that are actually going through Hebrew and this is useful, or if you're just out of, if you're looking for some ASMR, I think it's ASMR. I don't remember what it stands for. Or if you're just here out of loyalty to the channel, I really appreciate it. It's great that you guys are here. Okay, so bo is an imperative form from Beit Vav Aleph. So bo, boi, bou, bona, I think is how you do the feminine plural imperative. Anyway, so bo, come, now, come, habaita. So let's just go through this one again. Oops. So bite is house. Ha, hey pathag doubling dot is the, right? Okay, awesome. Thank you guys. Malachi Walker says in all caps, this is so useful. High Revolutionary says, I'm teaching myself. I just appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully this is useful. I mean, you just said it was, so I'm going to be quiet. So habait is the. Now, normally when you put Comet's hey is heavy, relatively speaking. Normally, if you put Comet's hey on the end of a word, it will draw the accent. But here, it doesn't. Now, if you look at this form, you can tell that it doesn't draw the accent. How can you tell? It's like a Dora the Explorer episode. Can you see why it doesn't draw the accent? Right. The diphthong. Okay. If it did draw the accent, we know, if the accent were here, we know that this aya construction would go to A. Because aya, when it doesn't have the accent, goes to A. So if it were ah and it drew the accent, you'd get habeta. But you don't. The diphthong stands. And because of that, we can tell the accent's still here because you get the aya diphthong. Joshua the Explorer. You guys are amazing. So this is the directional hey then. So it's saying toward something. Habaita. And habaita is just like to the house. So ani holech habaita is I am going home. To the house. I'm going to the house. So bo habaita, come to the house, come home. Ushchav. So shchav is an imperative here. So it would be shchav, shichvi, shichvu, shchavna, if for the imperative forms. So, and lie down from shin kaf beit, shchav, lishon, and lie down to sleep. So from yashan, a cow infinitive construct from yashan. So now, come home and lie down to sleep. Ki, because ein lechem le'echol. So ein is the opposite of yesh. Yesh means there is. Ein means there is not. So because there is not lechem le'echol, bread, lechem, to eat. Cal infinitive construct from achal. All right, so let me just read that back through because somebody asked me to do that. So here's this paragraph right here. Start here. Bevo'o el beito Bevo'o el beito. So I'm trying to read the rest of the sentence to get the accents. Bevo'o el beito hu ra'a et imo omedet sham. You can see that. Vatomer lo lemor ro'a ani ki macharta et habehema. תן לי את הכסף אשר נתנו לך תחתיה. ויען יעקב לאמו לאמור, לא מכרתי את הבהמה, אך נתתי אותה לזקן חכם אשר ראיתי בדרך, והוא נתן לי את הזרע, הגדול הזה אשר בידי. ותקרא אמו בקול גדול, נער רשע אתה, עוון גדול עשית. הנוכל לאכול או לשתות זרע? אתה בוא הביתה, ושכב לישון, כי אין לחם לאכול. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. Okay. Time. Good. 10:47. So I'm going to try to go till, I'll go another 45 minutes. I'm going to try to go right till 11:30. And the reason is I want everybody to have time to go get a quick bite, get a snack or something, and then come back for the 12 o'clock last round of scholarship applicants for the HAPS, the Humans Against Sport Scholarship Fund competition. So we have 3 more. It'll make, I think it's 12 applicants total that we've had. And yeah, so that'll start at 12 on the channel. Okay. אחרי הדברים האלה, שרה האם מפני בנה, ותיקח את הזרע הגדול, ותשים אותו על האדמה על יד הבית. So אחרי is like after or afterwards. הדברים האלה. So let's just go through that form. Davar has a bunch of meanings in the Hebrew Bible, but it's basically like a word, a thing, a matter. So I think I slept on my neck wrong. Or I slept wrong and my neck's a little weird. You guys didn't really need to know that. Okay. Acharei hadavarim ha'ela. So davar is a word or a thing. If we put the im ending on, we remember that we get the accent shift from davar to devarim. Leave that marker up there. So we know that we look for some type of vowel reduction in the form. So the rules are, if this is the tonic syllable, this is the pre-tonic, and this is the pro-pre-tonic. So our rules are, if you remember, we start in an open, that is a consonant vowel syllable, or just a vowel. One that doesn't have consonant, vowel, consonant. Consonant, vowel, consonant would be a closed syllable. So we start in an open pro-protonic syllable. That's this guy. Is this an open syllable? Yes, it is. Is there a comet or a tsere? Yes, there is. It gets reduced. So that comet gets reduced to a shava. Devarim. And that's, you can see it here. That's what we have here. Devarim. And then if we wanted to say, let's just get rid of this. So that explains our vowel pointing. Davar went to Devarim. Now, if we wanted to say the words, we would get hey, pathak, doubling dot, or dagesh. So there you go, hadvarim. Ele means like these, sorry. So ha'ele is just acting as an attributive adjective here. So if we remember, we try to do a hey, pathak, doubling dot. What's going on? It's like that dog is just, what the? It disappeared. I don't understand. Why would the doggish disappear? Let me just try it one more time. What the? Gone again. So normally when we have, if you remember, if we have a hey pathak doubling dot, you syllabify it there. One dalet's going that way to close the syllable. One dalet's going that way to open the syllable. Sorry, there's an interesting question in the side chat. I'm going to get to it in just a second, but somebody remind me if I don't answer it. However, because the gutturals and resh, and the gutturals are aleph, ayin, hey, chet, and of course resh, they resist being doubled, because that's what that dagesh does. The dagesh, it doubles the radical. You have to divide the syllable there. And because of that, you end up with an open syllable that's not accented, because the accent's there, and it's short. So an open, unaccented syllable, can't have a short vowel. It's got to have a long vowel. So that pathak, or the patach, will lengthen to a comets. So that's why you have, where is it? There it is. Ha'ele. Ha'ele. So there you go. There was a question here. Everyone needs a smile asked. I've never watched one of these before. Does anyone know if there are records of how this was taught to people at the time? It depends on what you mean at the time. So if you're asking about like during the biblical period, so, late second millennium or the first millennium BCE, there's actually not a lot of evidence. We don't have a lot of evidence for scribal education of Hebrew. We do have some during the first millennium. A lot of it comes from, oh boy, I'm blanking on the name. That's so terrible. It's a little fortress. God, come on, Josh. It's down it's south of the Sinai. It's south of Kadesh Barnea. What's it called? Oh. Anyway, there's a fortress there, and it's got a fair amount of inscriptional data that we have. Several labociteries, couple of lists. But this was taught, we think. Okay, so let me go a different direction. I'm actually writing a book right now on scribal education in ancient Mesopotamia. So particularly in the early second millennium BCE. And the way that scribes learned how to write then was by copying out different compositions, starting with lists of signs, of syllables, of vocabulary words. They, worked their way up to copying out model contracts or proverbs or letters, model letters, and then, worked their way up to literary texts. So we see the same sort of thing from the little bit of evidence that we have in, in Israel and its environs. You have syllabaries being copied, lists. Looks like there's probably some literature anyway for learning Hebrew. So that's a good question. You know, outside of that, you know, later periods, I don't know. I still can't believe I can't remember the name of the fortress. They thought originally it was like a religious center. This is so terrible. Anyway, I'm not going to spend more time trying to remember that because my brain will not allow me. Okay, so after these things, Sarah, and actually this is probably Sarah, accent's probably back here. So this is a cow perfect, third feminine singular from sur, so seen, samech, va, or yud resh. Vav resh, lasur, to turn aside. Ha'em, the mother, so the mother turned aside, of course. Mipnei bna. I really want to look up the name of this fort now. I'm not going to. So mipnei is from the face of. So let's go through this. It's not Masada. Panim. Damn it. Okay. I'm really gonna stop thinking about this. I hate MS. It's just this sort of thing really gets to me because I know what this is. But MS stinks. Okay, so panim means face, right? Panim. So if we wanted to say the face of, we know that mem right here will go real small and become the other dot of a tsere here. So panim, the eem ending will go to a in the construct form. Oops, that's a terrible tsere. And then if we syllabify that, this is an open syllable. It's going to reduce to shava. So panay, the face of something. Excuse me. Iron Charioteer is asking how the current book is doing. It's doing, I guess, it's doing reasonably well. Yeah, I guess it's solid. Okay. Thank you very much for putting the link there. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we've got 2 books out. Actually have them sitting here on the desk. Hang on. So the one that Iron Charioteer is referring to is this guy. Oops. Did the Old Testament endorse slavery? Sorry, can you see that? I can't tell. Yeah. And then Megan and I wrote a book together, Learn to Read Ancient Sumerian, an Introduction for Complete Beginners. So yeah, they're doing pretty well. It's not Masada. It's if I stop thinking about it, I'll remember. Anyway, thank you though, guys. It's right. So panim goes to panay. Oh, here, and then the preposition min. Oops. Min means from, right? Away from. We know that nun will often assimilate into consonants. So that's actually right there. If you remember, it's a very tiny nun. So mipnei. So mipnei. So if you were to syllabify that, it would be like this. So mipnei. All right. This is from the face of, like woodenly, from the face of. Where is it? Yeah. Okay. So this is sort of like from before. So she turns away from the face, literally, of, but she turns aside from her son. So Bain is son. If we wanted to say her son, we'd make that we take away the nun sofit and make it just a regular nun. And then we'd put, man, that's an ugly comments, isn't it? It still is. That ending, of course, we remember that this dagesh, the dagesh here, is actually called mapik, because we remember Eddie Munster had a widow's peak, and he would say, mapik, mapik. Another one from my old Semitics professor. So Bana is her son, but notice right now we still have Baina. You guys can probably guess what happens. This is a long vowel. It's going to reduce because it goes into a construct form. Bana. And where is it? Yep, there it is. Bana, her son. Vatikach. So Vatikach et hazera hagadol. You can still see that. So Vatikach is from lakach. Lakach, to take. In the imperfect, the lamed acts like a first nun, and it scrunches up into a ball and goes into the kuf. So you end up with just kach, and it gets a hirik. So vatikach, this is from lakach, so cow, vowel, consecutive, imperfect, third feminine singular from lakach. Vatikach et hazera, and she took et, the definite direct object marker, hazera, notice that's definite because this is marking something that's definite. Hazera hagadol, the gadol here is big, great, whatever. And notice it has ha on the front. It's acting as an attributive adjective. So the big seed, the great seed. So when she took the great seed, vatasim, trying to think if I want to talk about that. Vatasim, excuse me. Yeah, asim, tasim, tasimi, yasim, tasim. Okay. So this is just a cow, vav, consecutive, imperfect. Third singular, third feminine singular from seam. So to set, and she set oto, it. This is that, it. But then when you add object suffixes to it, it goes to ot, and then you put the object suffix on. So you end up with ot. Sorry. Otcha. Otach. That's probably that. Otach. And then oto. And ota. Oti, otcha, otach, oto, ota. So this would just be me, you, him. Oops, I guess I don't have to write masculine singular. And then her. So they're objects. And she set it, something masculine. So zera is masculine. So notice hazera hagadol. You can tell that zera is masculine here because it's not hagdolah. Gdolah would be feminine, so hazera hagadol is masculine singular adjective. Vatasim oto, and she set it al ha'adama, on the ground. Adama, al yad. Al yad is just a, al is on or upon, and then hand is this is beside. It's an idiom. This is the word that I was searching for, an idiom for beside or next to. Al yad habait. So she set it on the ground next to habait, the house. Okay. Scroll down. Vatelech el habait, vatishkav lishon, ki gam la lo haya lechem le'echol. So this is from halach, kalvav, consecutive and perfect, from hey lamed, third singular, third feminine singular from halach. So yeah, I don't know if I want to go into all of that. Yeah, it's okay. So okay, well. So halach acts, oddly, hey lamed kaf, because this hey is weak. Remember how we saw I'm just trying to think of ways to remember this. Oops. In ra'ah, we saw that this hey sort of changes into a yud. I know that's weird to think of, and you get ra'iti, for example. Ra'iti, ra'ita, ra'it. So the same sort of thing happens here. The same sort of thing happens here. So in a first hey, it sort of acts like a yud. So you end up with, when you add the aleph the aleph prefix for the first common singular imperfect, it kind of acts like a yud, and you get a lech. So it's like it. Is that a good way to think of it? I don't know. Elech, telech, telchi, yelech, telech, nelech. Yeah, and so on. So they don't, obviously you don't always get that yud there. So elech, and then telech, and that's what we get here, vatelech. So elech, telech, telechi, yelech, telech, so on. Again, if you want to, I've said this before, but if you want to get some practice, if you're really ready to memorize the verbal paradigms, if that's a thing for you, it really helped me. Then there's that 501 Hebrew verbs. I'm sure they still. I'm sure that you can still get it, and you just sit there and it'll give you a root, 3-letter root usually at the top of the page, and you just go through them, and you start with all the cow perfects. Just go through cow perfect, and it lays them out in the same sequence on the page, and you just go, okay, halachti, halachta, halacht, halach, halcha, halachnu, halachtem, halachten, halachu, halachu. Then you look, did I get it right? Yeah, okay. Oh, wait, this is, and in the imperfect, you would try to say it, and you go, oh, that's right. This is weird. It's elech, telech, telechi, and so on. Okay, enough of that. 501 Hebrew verbs. Good book. All right. So, and she went to the house, and you could also say, instead of el habayit, you could say habayta, same sort of thing, to the house. Vayishkav, and she laid down. So this is a Kav consecutive imperfect, third feminine singular from Shin Kaf Beit, to lie down, and she laid down. Lishon, this is a counterfinitive construct from Yashan. So Lishon, to sleep. Ki Gam, because also, right? La, to her. Lo Haya. All right, so let's talk about that for a second. Remember, we talked about Yesh and Ain. Yesh means there is. Ain means there is not. So the way that you say I have something, like in the present tense, you would say Yesh li, there is to me kesef. Yesh li kesef. There is to me money or silver or whatever. I have silver. Or Ain li kesef. I do not have, or there is not to me money. I remember, I don't look like someone that should be able to speak any Hebrew, I don't think. And I remember I used to walk around the mall, and there was a kiosk out in Winchester, Virginia, which, you might not expect a lot to go on in Winchester, Virginia, but they had a kiosk there for the Dead Sea salt, which is really great stuff. I think. It's really worked well for us. But I remember I'd walk by and they'd say, would you like to, these are, Israelis that were, come over and were working. And I'd say, Lo toda in lemas pikesef. And I'd keep walking. And they'd look at me like, wait, why did that guy just speak Hebrew? Of course, I'm sure my accent is terrible, but yeah. Lo toda in lemas pikesef. I'm sorry. No, thank you. In lemas pikesef. I don't have enough money. So yesh, there is. Ain, there is not. Okay. But in the past, you don't say li or lecha or lach or whatever. Where is it? There it is. You say, sorry, other way around. You don't say yesh. You say, what is it? What have we got? Third and feminine singular. So, sorry. Ugh, God. Lo. Is it? Yeah, that's third. Okay. Yeah. La. It's all scrunched together. Sorry. Lo haya la. There was not, as opposed to there is not. So if you wanted to say, let's do it this way. If you wanted to say, why can't I write a yud correctly? Yesh li lechem. There is to me bread. In other words, I have bread. There is to me bread. Or ain li lechem. There is not to me bread. Just erase this bottom one. Oops. Actually, I was supposed to erase the top one. Damn it. I guess I could have just hit the refresh button. So if we said ain la, there is not to her lechem. There is not to her bread. If you wanted to say there was not to her bread, she did not have bread, you would say lo aya la. Can I get it all on here? Lechem. So there was not to her. So, in other words, These are the things. So ein la lechem, there is not. Lo haya la, there was not. Now, the reason, so you would expect maybe to see lo haya la lechem lechol, there was not to her bread to eat, another confinitive construct from achal. However, notice that they're fronting this phrase here, not the key, but ki gam la, because also to her, because if you remember from, earlier, it's, she said they're essentially saying to him, there's no bread for you to eat. The text is saying she also went to bed to sleep without eating, because also for her, there was not bread to eat. So, good. Okay. Okay, so let's oh, thank you, Ori Bench. Ori Bench says, hello, everyone. Hebrew is my native language, and I have to say that Josh is an excellent teacher. It's very, very kind of you. I really appreciate that. There was a question I was going to ask about pronunciation, but it's all right. I don't remember what it was now. Okay, so here we are. Vayhi Laila, Vayhi Boker, which is interesting because I expect this. I want to say Vayhi Ere, Vayhi Voker, but it's not. It's Vayhi Laila, Vayhi Boker, and I expect this to be Voker, but because there's anyway, it doesn't matter. If you remember that from Bereshit Aleph from Genesis 1, you had this phrase, Vayhi ere, Vayhi voker, Yom Echad, Vayhi ere, Vayhi voker, Yom Sheni. So on. So there was evening and there was morning. But here we've got Vayhi Laila, so and there was night, Vayhi boker, and there was morning. So Vayhi, this is, a form that you want to get used to seeing. Because it's like, and it came to pass, and there was. But it's just a Kal Vav consecutive imperfect, third masculine singular from Haya. So Vayhi. So Vayhi Laila, and there was night. Vayhi Boker, again, I want it to be Voker, but whatever. And there was morning. Vayakom Yaakov, Vayar Etz Gavoa Meod Al Yad Betam, V'ha'etz Ole Ad Hashemayim. Go figure. Yes. So Malachi Walker asks a good question. I thought there was an implied dagesh in the yud to help with the vayehi. Yes. There is. So you would expect, how do we want to do this? You would expect in this, let's see. So if we have the root shamar, we make this yishmor in the imperfect. And there's that vav consecutive imperfect. So it's Vav, and the standard form is Vav, Pathak, or Patach, Dagesh. So Vayishmor, and the reason that they have the Dagesh here is the same reason as, all the other times. You have a CVC then, and then a CV, another CVC, and then another CVC. But you have one yud going that way to close that syllable, and one yud going this way to open the next syllable. So you expect that dagesh to be in the yud, right? Because you want vav, pathak, doubling dot. Okay. However, I don't know if we want to go through all the steps, but one of the rules, I don't know, that we saw, Here's the form. We would expect vav pathak doubling dot, but one of the patterns, that's the word that I'm searching for. The patterns that we see is if you have a vocal shava underneath of a letter, it acts like a little drill, and it kind of drills a hole here, and the dagesh just falls out through it. So what you end up with is a vocal shava here, vayihi, but no dagesh. It's a virtual doubling, I guess would be the word that we'd use. Vayihi. Oops. Vayihi. Good question. Vayihi. So, and there was night and there was morning. Vayakum. So this is from kum. This is a cow of vav consecutive imperfect. Notice there's your pattern there. Vav pathak doubling dot. Vayakum. Remember, this is a kametz chatuf. This is an o sound from kum. Just go over that real quick. So kum. Akum, takum, takumi, yakum, takum. When you put that vav pathak doubling dot on the front, oftentimes what happens in like third haze, middle weeks, the accent stays back here by yakum. So if we were to syllabify like this, we now have a CVC with a long vowel, and closed syllables with long vowels that are unaccented. Generally, you don't like those. Malachi, I see your question. I'm going to answer in just a second. It's a good question. So this long shorek, the long U vowel, gets shortened to a short O sound, vayakum. So you end up with vayakum. That's a short vowel there. Vayakum. Okay. So your question is, how do you know when there's an implied dagesh versus a diphthong? Oh, I see, because of aya. Yeah, the diphthongs show up in sort of standard places. So what they're asking is aya. Is that standard diphthong form, like in bayit or zayit? And so one of the things that we know is that vayehi, the accent's here. So if this were a diphthong, you would expect, because the accent has shifted off of it, that this would go to they, but it doesn't. But there's no accent on it, so it's probably not a diphthong. It's just acting as a the standard vowel pattern, and then the dagesh is, has dropped out. It's virtual, whatever. It's a good question. So kum is to rise up, or to get up. So vayakom Yaakov. So and Jacob got up. Vayar, and he saw. Notice this is from Reish Aleph Hey. The Hey is dropped off. Vayar. So just a cow of consecutive imperfect. Third singular from third masculine singular from Reish Aleph Hey, and he saw eitz gavoa me'od. So So, okay. This pathak here is a furtive patach. And what that means is, we've talked about this, I think, before. And it's a really ugly pathak, and I'm sorry. But sometimes you will see it drawn under the hay like that. Sometimes you will see it sort of slid a little bit over to the right. And the reason that they do that is it's allowing that. So hey, if you think about, if you're pronouncing an H like in history, you breathe through it. But as opposed to if you're saying I guess, let me think here. Yeah, anyway, I don't know the linguistics side of that, the way it forms in the mouth. But this ending is not like an H in history. It's not it's So instead of them saying gavo, they want to give that hey some type of an sound. But it's a very minimal sound. So instead of saying gavo which would require an like a glottal stop, like an olive or something in there, they put this little patach in there, this little pathak in there, and it gives it just a hint of an A sound. So gavoa, gavoa. But what that means, practically speaking, is that you pronounce the O, then you pronounce the then you pronounce the hey. So you have to think of these together with the pathak coming first, like a normal vowel would before a consonant. So the hey is still ending. The hey is still the last thing in the word. So it's gavoa. It's not gavoha. Gavoa. Gavoa. And they call that a furtive patach. Furtive pathak. So gavoa, which is just high. It's an adjective, means tall or high. So vayar etz gavoa me'od. So, and he saw a very me'od, a very high tree, a very tall tree. Al yad, on hand, like beside, beitam. Beitam. Ooh, I'll finish this and then we'll have to pick up here next time. So, bite. When you put the ending on, third plural ending, object suffix on, the aya, the accent shifts, right, to here. So the aya goes to A. Yeah, somebody asked why use gavoa instead of gadol. It's a good question. Big, I have to look at this, do some lexicography, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. The big, gadol can mean like big. Doesn't necessarily have to be tall, although it can be used that way. But gavoa, I think, just exclusively is height. But don't quote me on that. I have to look. But beitam would be their house. So al yad beitam, their house. V'ha'etz ole, this is just a cow, active participle, masculine singular from Allah. So ole, ola, olim, olot, standard for a third hey. And the tree was ascending ad hashamayim. Ad means like up till or unto. Hashamayim, the heaven, up to the sky. Okay. I'm going to have to end it here because, as I mentioned earlier, we have the interview's coming in 30 minutes, but I'll just read just to kind of close it out. Let me read this paragraph in Hebrew to you guys so you can just have that. Vayhi laila vayhi boker vayakom Yaakov vayar etz gavoa me'od al yad beitam v'ha'etz oleh ad hashamayim ha'etz gavoa mikol ha'etzim asher. Sorry. Asher ra'a Yaakov ad hayom hahu. Vaya'al Yaakov al ha'etz ad asher ba el sha'arei hashamayim. Oh, that went quickly. Vayar v'hinei derech lefanav. Vayelech vayavo el bait gadol me'od. Vayar b'sha'ar habayit isha gdola me'od. Hu lo ra'a ad hayom hahu bait gadol kaze ve'isha gdola kazot. And we will figure out what all that means. If you haven't already, I'm sure those of you listening have now become so skilled in your Hebrew that you don't even need me to translate that because you got it already. But anyway, okay, we'll see what that means next time, or 2 weeks from now. If you want, anyway, yeah. If you have comments, please leave them in the comments section. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Be sure to tune back in 29 minutes because Megan will be interviewing our last 3 candidates for the Humans Against Poor Scholarship Fund. So, yeah, come out. If you haven't donated, please do so, because if you donate, it means that you get a vote in who gets the scholarship. So anyway, okay, guys, thank you so much. Until next time, resist poor scholarship. Always ask, how do you know that?